This is NewsBreak26 in Southwest New Brunswick. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Here's what's happening in our part of the world. After an outbreak of COVID-19 at Woodland Pulp, a mill in Baileyville, Maine that employs 7 residents of the Charlotte County area, a satellite COVID-19 testing site near the Charlotte County Hospital is now operating in St. Stephen.
My understanding it was as a result of the situation in Calais and just to make sure that access was there, but I know there was an access issue that people were talking about even before that situation. So I haven't spoken with the RHAs recently to find out what the long-term plan is around that. I just know in a general sense when we do need to increase capacity, pop-up centers are available.
The testing site is open to anyone in the area who requires testing. COVID-19 outbreaks in both Zone 1, the Moncton region, and Zone 5, the Campbellton region, have led to those 2 zones returning to the orange level of recovery. This means residents of Zone 1 and 5 are now required to follow more strict guidelines, including wearing masks in both indoor and outdoor public settings. These orange level guidelines also apply to New Brunswickers who live in yellow zones but visited Zone 1 or 5 over the holiday weekend.
For those folks who traveled into orange zones over the Thanksgiving weekend, please, when you leave the orange zones and go back to a yellow zone, wear your mask, bring extra masks to school. If you have students going to school, please make sure they're provided with them, and pay extra attention. Wash your hands even more, pay even more attention to social distancing, pay even more attention to how you cough or sneeze the next couple of weeks. And of course, there are the restrictions on participating in extracurricular activities and sports.
Some town councils, particularly in rural areas of New Brunswick, have either lost quorum and dissolved as a result, such as on Campobello Island, or are on the verge of losing quorum. This is in part due to extended terms during COVID-19, but also because many town councillors are acclaimed in the first place due to lack of interest. At a press conference on Tuesday, I asked Premier Higgs if he's considering amalgamating local service districts with municipal governments to ensure there are a healthy number of candidates before the May municipal elections.
Yes, I think that in terms of local government and the exercise to attract candidates, I think now that the date is certainly official, that people know when to expect it, I think not knowing that was also a bit of an uncertainty. I commend those that have allowed their name to stand and continue to offer in public service during the length of time. I think generally people are understanding why, especially right now, that we're moving to the spring date. And we would be looking for good representation, and I think all part of local governance and understanding what works is recognizing the challenges that many areas are having in finding candidates for representation.
CHCO is launching a new show this week called New Brunswickers Want Action. Hosted by Neil Clements, Matthew Martin, and Dr. Timothy Christie, NBWA takes a closer look at systemic prejudices and racial injustices in New Brunswick, and as the title of the show suggests, calls for action.
If I go fishing illegally in New Brunswick, or if I go hunting illegally in New Brunswick, the police can stop me, detain me, confiscate my vehicle, arrest me, put me in jail, give me a fine. You cannot be arrested, put in jail, or have your property confiscated for racial discrimination in New Brunswick. I think that is a clear, blatant example of systemic discrimination, that our system is designed to make it so that victims of racial discrimination have no real recourse.
New Brunswickers Want Action airs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. and 7:30. That's all the news I have for you. For more stories and updates, including live streams of COVID-19 news conferences for New Brunswick, follow us on Facebook at CHCO.TV.
A news and public affairs production of CHCO-TV, New Brunswick's only source for independent community television.